From this space here at the center of our medicine wheel, we recognize the 7 directions, the 3 pathways of the heart seed, the pathway between east and west, west and east, the pathway of the rising sun and setting sun, the rising moon and setting moon, the zodiac and our solar system planetary family, our daily walk, our daily rise, our daily service, our awakening and our sleeping process, our rising sun and the setting moon, the masculine principle and the feminine principle, and giving thanks for the pathway between south and north, north and south, the pathway of our life story, that place from which we come from, the south, the roots, the inner child, and I've seen it kept by Black Swan, moving into the north, the place of future calling, place of the elder, the place we've never been before, also kept by White Swan. And then giving thanks for this story evolving, rewriting from past to future. Giving thanks for the direction between above and below, below and above, the pathway of our human tree, the way that we grow our roots deep into the earth, creating that safe space and connecting deeply into the body of Mother Earth, giving thanks to the bones and the blood, and moving up and giving thanks to the shoots of our tree, and just connecting into the higher realms, the star realms, the original homes, the star seeds, the wisdom that comes from above, and just growing your tree as tall and as deep throughout your life. And through this cycling process between the roots and the shoots, meeting the pathways of south and north, between south and north, east and west, all together here at the heart, you come to the 7th direction of within. And it's here that I invite yourself to just give yourself a gentle rub over your heart and take a couple of deep breaths. And just giving great thanks for who you are, all that you hold, all that you transmute, all that you are, and giving thanks. Giving thanks to all our relations, the 4 directions, the 4 elements, the element of earth residing at the terrestrial womb, ascending with the element of fire, the masculine right hand path, deeper ascension into the element of air, the celestial womb, and descending with the waters of the feminine left hand path back into earth. And here at the womb, keeping this cauldron astir, never stagnant. And then at the belly button, we find the 5th element of ether, the cosmic womb, the portal of all life and all death, the rainbow serpent. Giving thanks to the 4-leggeds, those that walk with us a lifetime and those that weave in and out of our path. And just taking a moment to see if there's a 4-legged coming up for you, and giving thanks. Giving thanks to the high mountains, the stone people, and just taking a moment to reflect upon the high mountain that is closest to you, or any high mountains that you connect with around the world. And recall their name in your heart. And just giving thanks. Giving thanks to the plant people that bring so much beauty and nourishment and medicine into our life. Giving thanks to Ishkakal, Mama Kakao, for her softening and her melting. I heard recently, soft things do not break, it's only the hard things that are. And just seeing if there is a plant person that's specifically coming up for you. And giving thanks. Giving thanks to the mythical realms, the storytelling realms, the fairy folk and tale, the breadcrumb trail to the Holy Grail. And giving thanks to the 13 original clan mothers and their 13 stories. And seeing if there is a story that's coming up for you, a story that you've been working with, a fairy tale that you love. Giving thanks. Giving thanks to the creepy crawlies, those that work within community and creating together, and those solitary warriors, and seeing if there is a creepy crawly coming up for you, and giving thanks. Giving thanks to the winged ones, those that write songs in the sky, and those that teach us how to fly and watch with the condor's eye. And seeing if there is a winged one coming up for you, and giving thanks. Giving thanks to the ancestors of blood and of soul. And seeing if there is an ancestor coming up for you, and giving thanks to this ancestor. Giving thanks to the two-leggeds, those hands and eyes and hearts that we meet on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. Friends, family, colleagues, and worthy opponents. And seeing if there is a two-legged coming up for you, and giving thanks. And giving thanks to the sister circle, this cauldron, to the space, for us being together. Aho, aha, blessed be, wishing well, done a home. Welcome, dear sisters. I think everything's in order. It's a strange place that I'm in. I haven't been here before. Yesterday, so this is kind of just my check-in. Yesterday, a friend of mine asked if I could give her boyfriend a lift from King Williamstown to Cathcart. And it was this whole synchronistic event that has brought me to this very old farm in Cathcart, very old house. It's just got this kind of antiquity about it. And it's a beautiful process here. So the internet's new to me, and I was kind of stressed out that I won't be able to. I don't know if I would be able to make the call. But other than that, I'm feeling really grateful. My heart is feeling so much. There's grieving that wants to take place, and I allow the tears to flow. The dove is definitely with me. I'm feeling big dove energy with me. The birthing portal and the death portal. And just giving gratitude for the magnificence of life and how blessed I am that my life has this full potential for absolute mystery, and for not knowing what lies ahead. And it creates great excitement about life, and it makes me excited about life, knowing that there's this whole life in front of me that I can live, and I don't know what's going to happen. I stand, of course, with integrity, and I'm doing my thing. And I trust that all will be well and all will be good. Welcome, Ali. Very, very welcome. We've done our prayer. So what we're doing now is just checking in for a minute to see how we're feeling, and then we'll go into a deeper sharing with the grandmother.
Thank you. Sorry, I've just woken up.
No problem. I thought so. I thought that it might be early for you. You're very welcome. Thank you, Ali. Meryl, would you like to share how you are feeling in this moment?
Good morning. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. I think, Chantel, you might need to put your mute button on because of the feedback. Yay, that's better. Now I can hear myself. Thank you. So this is just, if I understand it correctly, it's a brief share of where I'm at the moment. Yeah, it's been, the last 2 weeks have been quite a learning challenge. Just noticing some triggers within myself and the need to work through those, which means me having to look at my relationship with my teacher and my mentor. And it's been it's quite challenging when that path needs to go in a different direction. So I'm working with that to see how that's going to be most easeful for both of us. It's a big challenge for me, moving away from someone who's been your mentor and teacher for 10 years. So yeah, it's bringing up a lot of stuff, personal, and also, I don't want to use the word work or career, I'd rather say purpose in a way. So yeah, so there's a few questions that I'm asking of myself and seeing how that's going to manifest with the most ease. I think it's definitely relating to this first clan mother as well, who I'm not ready to say goodbye to yet. We have work to do, the two of us. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. But I am in a good space, and also realizing very, very deeply that I need to move out of the city, and that's also coming with its challenges relating to the first challenge, of course. So yeah, I'm in a I'm feeling very unsettled in my environment, but not in my home. So I'm safe in my home, I'm safe in my body, but the environment is challenging, but there are beautiful options. So that's where I'm at. I'm also dealing with grief. I have a very good friend of mine who is transitioning at the moment. Yeah, it's quite a hard one, and also was said goodbye to another friend. Yesterday we had her life celebration yesterday. So there's quite a lot of people, beautiful women who are transitioning, and it's beautiful sisters. So that's, I'm also but I'm also, it doesn't scare me, and I'm not in a place of deep sadness. Rather, just it taps into grief that I may not have grieved for others in the past. I think that's the check-in.
I relate with the grief, and what I want to say about the clan mother is you don't have to let her go. You've met her now, she's with you. And for me this month, it's been really clear that all the clan mothers are working completely together now with me. I can't even separate them very much anymore. Thank you for your check-in, Meryl. Okay, Odette. Yeah.
Hi, sisters. Yeah, my computer died. It's load shedding here, so hopefully I will be able to stay on. Yeah, it's good to be in circle again, and I have a brief check-in because I'm feeling quite quiet, not because there's stuff that I'm processing or anything, but just well rested, peaceful, at home. I think I'll just share more deeply when we go into the deeper share, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
Beautiful, Odette. Welcome and lovely to have you here again. Clara, how are you feeling in this moment?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Shanti. Yeah, I think I'm feeling in a very similar space, just needing to be quiet, actually, because I have no choice right now, just from utter exhaustion and really pushing myself very hard in the last while. Feels like so much has happened since our last call. And yeah, maybe I'll leave it for when there's the bigger share, but just in general that I'm really needing a big pause, not just a little pause. This is the last push is this weekend for this event that's happening, and it's been quite a big thing on an emotional level. It's been quite a transformative journey for me, and it's brought up a lot in the last few months as it's been coming together. And so many other things have been happening at the same time. So yeah, I think my voice is really reflecting what's going on in my body at the moment. And it's just in a nutshell with regard to the Clan Mother, it's been a really beautiful weave through that process as well to have her accompany. And yeah, I think I'll leave it at that for now. It's really good to be here. Feels very nourishing. So like 3 hours sleep last night.
I'm glad you're here, Clara. Thank you for being here. I hope that you get to have your rest soon. And please do share the link with us after the call for your event. Thank you. Helene.
Good morning. So I wasn't here for the opening circle, but I had a listen, and it was nice to, with technology, be virtually part anyway. So hello to everyone I haven't met, which I look around, and most of you I've actually literally met in person, which feels very safe and held for sisters coming together. Yeah, the last 8 weeks, I myself have been doing a journey with the chakras, with Kundalini dance. Odette was actually also part of the group, so nice to keep on journeying with her. And you sometimes sign up for a course or workshop. Oh, it's just another thing, and I didn't realize how earth-shattering it would be, literally uplifting parts of my core beliefs. And I went into the most severe depression I've been in probably 15 years. Like, I didn't see it coming. There were also a few practical factors of day-to-day life things. And I always thought of, you see people falling apart and just staying in bed. And I thought, oh, how luxurious, how do you even do that? Like, who has time for that? But then I realized it's not about choosing it, but sometimes there's literally not a way to get out of bed. I put myself into this private retreat for a few days, and actually went to the point that I've been seeing a psychologist, and now also thinking, why didn't I do that 10 years ago? So it's an interesting new relation, and a whole new way of relating somebody that you don't know, that you just pour your heart out. So that being said, all of that, not all of it, most of it I can say is left behind now. It's like, oh my goodness, I felt like I nearly died, or wanted to at least. So now just looking very differently at a flower or at a beautiful sunrise, or before the call I stood outside, I did a bit of yoga, like so beautiful, the sun, and just the privilege to be alive. So from forgetting that completely to remembering it feels quite good, like almost a new chance on life. So that's the type of place I'm checking in from. Like everything at the moment is feeling great. But for a little while there, I really like kind of almost lost myself. So yeah, just happy to restart the journey. It'll be the third time that I'm on this journey with Shanti. So each time I read it, I'm like, how have I missed so many things, little details? Like it's been there all along. So yeah, it's just lovely to settle down, make this time. I'm at my parents' house, which is also quite sweet, and just feeling the day that we did the reading about the first circle, the family around us. I actually shared it with my family, and I mean they're quite extreme Afrikaans, Christian, you know. So I just thought, you know, life is too short. I'm going to share these things with them, and it's just so beautiful how just with that start of sharing and their curiosity to ask, you know, what is it that you're keeping yourself busy with, how the relating is already deepened. But I can share more about that later. So I'm checking in from a remembering that life is actually amazing type of place.
Wow, thank you, Helene. My heart really stirs, and I'm glad you're here. And thank you for your presence. River, how are you feeling in this moment?
Hi, aloha. I am also been in a very quiet place this whole week, in a very tender and vulnerable place, and kind of observing how when there's frustration or aggression in the humans around me, how I actually have to put on a little bit of armor to keep steady and to keep doing what I need to do. Also, lots of wild, exciting changes coming in my life. I've been home educating my children for the best part of 13 years. And next year, they're going to be in small little learning centers, like kind of cottagey schools. And so for the first time, I'm like, I'm going to be having all this time and capacity to be like super income, like really income generating, and do all these things that I've been learning to do. I've done a lot of kahuna massage this last week, which has also been really amazing. I think one of the ones on Thursday, yeah, it felt like it really activated something energetically that has kind of stayed with me since then. And I'm also on a radical nutritional journey. So, yeah, taking a lot of care. And on Monday, I sort of uncovered some things in a therapy session, and showed that that's where the tenderness of the week has come from. And just like watching me holding myself through everything else that's happening around me, as well as holding children that are going through major transitions and processes. But I'm peaceful and content. I'm out of town, like an hour or so out of PE. I'm visiting my beloved in Kirkwood, and we had a kiff bike in the Crindal Nature Reserve yesterday. Pretty much all day hike. Just divine. So feeling resourced by nature. And I have noise cancelling headphones on, and I can totally hear the cicada in the tree above me. It's like very noisy up there. Yeah.
Thank you, River, for being here. Thank you for taking care of all the parts of your life. And welcome, and I look forward to the deeper sharing. Natalie, how are you feeling in this moment?
Hello, my sisters, ladies, queens. I'm really happy to be here. So I'm feeling really good because I've made the commitment to give myself time. And today I set aside just to have rest because it's the end of the year and it's been go, go, go. And all those things have just been tied, trying to pull everything together to tie it up for this moment into madness that we're headed into. And it's Scorpio season, and I'm feeling all that intensity and things that are going on. But today I just chose to, when I woke up at 6 a.m., I went, no, I'm chosen to rest. And so I went back to sleep and then just pondered in my garden and had a beautiful, peaceful day of just being in my beautiful place. So I'm feeling really good about that before we face the next week ahead. And I can't wait to share about this clan mother.
Beautiful, Natalie. Thank you for joining us all the way from Australia. It's wonderful to have you here. Ali, how are you in this moment? Sleeping Beauty.
Hello. I'm so sorry about that. I had my alarm, or it was turned on. I don't know what happened. I woke up very early, 4:30. And yeah, I went back to sleep. So it's a very unusual weekend because I'm not at home. I'm actually on an art retreat. We're not that far from where I live. I live in the UK, and I'm a bit late joining you all, but I've been, well, I listened to you all in the first circle, and it's just so lovely to meet you all finally. And I think this is a great circle of women. I'm very happy to be here. And I've enjoyed getting to know the first clan mother. And I guess, I mean, I just briefly, because I know this is a quickie. Yeah, it feels like, I guess, a veil has kind of lifted off my eyes in a way, and it's a way of looking at everything around me and remembering it's so pure and simple, really. And there've been some things, that I've seen, that I've heard, that repeated as well with you all, where it's made me really reconsider some of my relationships with my friends, and yeah, the truth of what's really going on there. And it's helped me to become a lot more present. The cacao journey was amazing, but I'll go into that in more detail. But yeah, essentially, thank you for letting me join late, and I very much look forward to being part of your journey. And yeah, I'm here.
You're very welcome, Ali, and no problems with being a little bit late. I'll never hold it against anybody, and I'm just glad you are here. And it's great to have you a part of the journey. It's wonderful having somebody from the UK inside. It's a very special place for me personally, even though I've never been. But yeah, I'm grateful that you are here. So we'll go into the deeper sharing now with talks of relations and how she has come up for each of us this month, this moon. Yeah. For me, it's been very evident throughout all of this time that I've been spending with the Clown Mothers, how once you really get to know them, they all really stand together, kind of like a circle around you, around me, and how throughout the month there's just these different ones coming up for me in these different aspects. Specifically with Talks of Relations, I'm just really, really grateful to be able to live where I live. It's a really deeply nourishing natural environment. And I think this month it's been very evident the part that I've been focusing on has returned back to the two-leggeds. I've had a lot of interesting encounters this month with people, with loved ones, and I really just appreciate it all, whether it's difficult or easy. I just stay within my center and try and be as truthful and as compassionate and as loving and as peaceful as I am with whatever arises. And I find myself today unknowingly that I would have been here. I would have never have guessed at the bedside of somebody who's dying and has consciously chosen not to eat and drink water anymore. And he's young, he's only 32, and he had cancer, and the chemo has really, really destroyed his lungs. And it's a beautiful journey sitting with him, this stranger, a complete stranger that life has guided me to. And the presence that I bring to him is deeply peaceful. We cuddled last night, and it's something that he thought he'd never experience again. It's just very, very, very moving, and it's bringing up grief for me, not specifically just for him, but just grief in general, for the beauty of life, the opportunities of life, the beauty of death. I'm really, really grateful for this deep honor to be able to witness such a strong soul choosing something like this, and the wisdom that's coming through, and reflecting on deaths of my grandparents, and reflecting on the future deaths of my family, my mother and my father, and reflecting on my own death. And death is something that I've always just through this journey really honored, and I love learning more about it. And yeah, just a very, very, very moving time. And I really give praises to this magnificence of life and death. And there's a piece I'd like to share that I've written for Talks of Relations. So there's a Bianca Charani and I are very slowly creating an oracle deck for the Clown Mothers. And I've written a piece for Talks of Relations specifically that I'd like to read to you, and then that will be my final sharing. So if you can, yeah, just bear with me. I'm going to find this piece. I'm going to just put my video off, and then I'm going to read. Okay. I am Talks of Relations. I am the mother of nature. I am the protectress of the planetary family. I wear Fox's wise cloak of invisibility. Believe in the unseen. See what is right under your nose. Hear the language of all your kin. Awaken to the whirling rainbow dream. My heart is anchored in the bosom of the eternal flame of love, spiraling the sacred rhythms into the heart of all relations. Hear the drum of my heart womb beat the ancient creations. Flow with the grapevine of faith into the hands all life creates. Rest here in sister whale singing. Remember the ancient beginning. Tune in to the loss to reclaim. Reach high into starseed again. Here in the crown of my antlers, receive the love from above. Ascend on the wings of the dove. And here at the brow of my vision rests the prayer of the goddess, a dance of ascension descension, to gather the sons and the daughters in original sweet sacred union. Pray continue your coins to the offer, to the chalice wells wishing waters. And as we descend back to earth, rest here in the hands of rebirth. The crystal skull of intuitive wisdom invites you to look within. Feel into your body being. Activate your ancient seeing. Remember the song of the mother. Live the world of the lover. I listen to the need of each creature and lovingly birth each season. Within the seasonal wheel of the sun lives the spiraling 13-moon dance. The 3 white moons of winter nurtures seeds of reflection. The 3 green moons of spring bears the blossoming dream. The 3 yellow moons of summer grows the fruit of passion. The 4 red moons of autumn brings the harvest of devotion. And the blue moon of transformation gifts true self-activation. My loving orange wings embraces all my king. I am one with Mother Hen, and I am the protectress of the children. The seed of original innocence is what I nurture for the generations of the future. And when these 12 stones, with badger rooted at the bones, I amplify my sacred prayer as he sits here by the water's edge, reflecting on the inner power that lives within the soul. Swan medicine is guiding grace, holding north and south in place, black and white, polarities in harmony, past and present, past and future present. And in the night sky, under the stars of the rainbow medicine, and where am I now? And in the night sky, under the stars of the rainbow bridge, blossoming violet iris, wild with the passage of rebirth, rooted at the feet, learning the ways of centipede, forever growing new legs with the rhyme, keeping the rhythm one step at a time. The rainbow serpent spirals into the standing tall tree of reflection, inviting all human relation to be heavenly earthly connections, opening up prayer and communion through the well of sacred union. Rise up through the heart of the tree, rise up rooted and free, and meet the golden sun, like grouse keeping spiraling medicine, and blue heron in slowly holy reflection, where one is all and all is one. The talks of relations in you invites your heart to burn true in the eternal flame of love, to meet each serpent and each dove. All of relations, all of kin in sacred union without and within, co-creating in the rhythm that we have all been given within the mother and the father, sister, brother, lover, grandfather and grandmother, encircle with one another. Tree people, plant people, stone people, bones and stones, winged ones, finned ones, creepy crawlies, creature teachers, fairy folk and tale, water and fire, earth and air, north and south, east and west, above and below, right and left, within and without. Together we are clever. Okay, so that's me. And Meryl, would you like to share about your moon with talks of relations?
Yeah, how does one follow? How does one follow? It's interesting. I've got so many thoughts going through my, little popcorn thing. So well, forgive me, it's going to be starting and stopping and going everywhere as it just lands. When we first met, and I said I wanted to do this exploration and adventure, that was about a year ago, and I was waiting for the announcement. And then when the announcement came, I was in two minds, because there were two different adventures that I was contemplating, and I knew I was not going to do both, because I tend to do a lot of things and never really complete. And I knew I wanted to do one or the other. And yeah, here I am, clearly. And the other one is something that I've been called to in many different ways for quite some time. And that is ecofluency, and that is working with all beings, and talking to trees and talking to stone people and all that kind of thing. And something that I've also really deeply called to, but now I realize I actually don't need to do that adventure in a formalized setting, because I can do it with Clan Mother. And it all just, that first Clan Mother, I mean, I think I was sucked into this joy of the first Clan Mother right from the beginning. And it confirmed so much for me. It was just like, yes, this is exactly, and I don't feel as weird, like when I'm just standing in the middle of nowhere and I become a tree, which is something that I tend to do quite a lot. I was like, oh, okay, that's what I'm doing. And although I still believe this, I haven't quite gotten to that deepest essence of what I call vibration communication. It's a lot stronger. And my calling to be, for me, it's always the stone people, the mountains, the stone people. It's that's why I know that in Seerbrock, that land just called me, and I had to be there, and I still have to be there. But my muse is Table Mountain. I go up onto my roof every morning and every evening, and we communicate and we talk. And that's what I posted this morning. She spoke to me very clearly, and I said, I'm going into this sister circle. What can I share? And she said to me, I'll read it just now, but that was the post I wrote this morning, very briefly. But yeah, I can really feel there's a really deep connection to communication beyond words. And a lot of the ladies have said today about being in stillness and quietness and not needing for words. And I really, that is just such a beautiful thing. And again, another inspiration that's been coming to me, and moving into the season where we're going to have like a whole week amongst a whole lot of people at solstice, and then a whole week amongst people at Learning Clan. And there's a lot of noise, and there's a lot of activities and a lot of sharings. And where's the space for self-care stillness? That's the term that came to me. And that's what I'm working with. In actually, that in the stillness, we actually hear so much more. I think that's one of the big learnings that's come for me with right relations. I've done a whole workshop on right relating with Taz last year. So it was just an extension of that, and being able to really tune into the elements. For me, the element of fire is really strong. It's getting stronger. And what tied in really nicely was, I read, you asked about the stories, is the story of Baba Yaga from The Woman Who Runs with Wolves. I cannot get past her chapter in the book about the fire, and if it's too much or it's too little, and where in the fire. And then I drew a card this morning, and it was, where in the fire can you get lessons from? And just all fire. So yeah, really working with fire and then wind, when the winged ones have been coming so much. So when we talked about the winged ones, they are really prominent at the moment, and learning to, like, when that wind is really, really, really strong, and we know what that wind can do, and you have to stand and not get blown over, and papers going and everything, that to me was about not letting my inner power just go flying all over the place, and really being able to use the ground to root with the air. So there's a lot of playing going on, a lot of thoughts going through my mind. Where this is going, who knows? I do know that I'm going to be having to move away from doing mostly of what I've been doing in the city, because I'm not going to be working online. The more I spend time in Seabrook. I love my TRE work, and it's so meaningful, and I know it needs to happen. And it's been months of really beautiful, blissful people walking through and experiencing the joy of TRE with me. And on Friday, we had our celebration and certification of our NGO project that had been going for 2 years, and 7 of our NGO candidates have become fully qualified and it was just the most exquisite thing. But I knew that was the part where I needed to move away from my mentor, my teacher, and say, okay, I'm going to do my own thing now. I won't move away from TRE, but just going to rephrase it in a different way. And I was like really scared about that, and didn't feel worthy, and who am I to do all of this and all that, and didn't feel very validated. And I was, and then one of the students, it's not even my mentee, but one of the students that is in the group, she gave me a gift, and I just started absolutely crying, and I'm going to show it to you. She painted this herself, and she said that was how she sees me. So this is a hat. She painted it. It's got all the feathers, and it comes out of the ocean. And at the back, she's written the Desiderata poem. And when I saw that, it was like just that, I was seen by one of my students in that way. It was just such a warm, beautiful feeling. And it was like, okay, if that's how I can be seen, then why am I not seeing myself in that way? So yeah, because I've always sort of like the Grey Wolf dancing, which was the name that was given to me by Taz, has always been like pushed aside, and here it is. So interesting. And then on the other aspect that's been so beautiful to me is the week after we started with Clan Mother, I did a retreat with Michelle and Gordon in Barrydale, Michelle Reed. We did a couples retreat, and Michelle and I connected on a really deep level. We hadn't met before. We just met in passing. And I shared with her some of the things that come to me in dream space. And she said to me, Meryl, you're describing, and one of the animals that comes to me a lot is the eland, or I've chosen to see the eland rather than just an antelope, because we are in Africa. And she said to me, Meryl, the eland is the blue deer. The blue deer on the red path is a very beautiful animal, and blue deer is the custodian of peyote. And then I was reading in Clan Mother about your 50-second cycle, and your 50-second cycle is when you are, and when you turn 52, you become your elder. And I am in my 50-second cycle. We started Clan Mother 6 months in, and we'll get there in April when I'm 52. And I just, the minute you said peyote, I knew that this medicine was calling me really strongly. And in the elder ceremony, traditionally, it's a peyote ceremony. So this is all now coming together. And I woke up in the morning, I said, Michelle, I really need to work with this medicine now. What the medicine is calling me, but it has to be done in TP. It has to be done in ceremony and with sustainably sourced peyote, because it's rare. It's something that needs to really be nurtured. She said, okay, we'll just put it out to the universe, and when Freddie comes to South Africa, she'll let me know. She'll put my name down, and she'll do it with me. And next morning she came to me and she said she's just got a message. They're coming to South Africa. They're going to be in the garden route 3 days after my 52nd birthday. So, wow. I mean, that is just, I've got goosebumps and chills, and it's on Friends of Ours land. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. Lots of things happening. I know that I'm going to be spending a lot more time in Seabrook. and somehow it's going to be working with that beautiful mountain energy. Mountain really cool, strong, talks to me. There's a and when I did the first introduction with the Echo Fluency with Saskia, we did a whole reading, and she said to me, Meryl, you are going to work with the mountain energy running from Table Mountain, which is where I'm sitting. Table Mountain's behind me here right now, and it runs all the way through up to the Drakensberg. So it's going to be very interesting to see how I connect with stone relations. Very exciting. This is, by the way, I'm burning rosemary, because rosemary is the plant that's calling me a lot. I've got an abundance of rosemary. It's everywhere. So loving my rosemary. She talks to me as well, tells me I'm safe, tells me I'm abundant. Love my rosemary. And yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, I loved almost all the readings, just that one about deep listening within yourself. That was really deep for me. And also being a body worker, somatic, and just like really trusting that intuition. So that was meaning for me. Yeah, that's really me. And then the message, I'm not going to read the post. I'm just going to tell you what the mountain told me this morning. It was, I look at her and there's a face in the mountain. I can see it's a man's face. He looks upwards. That's who I talk to in the mornings. And mountain said to me, Meryl, when you look at me in the mornings, are you looking at all my rough edges and all my bumps, or are you looking at my magnificence? And the invitation was to look in the mirror and notice, are you looking at all the rough bumps and rough edges? Or are you looking at the magnificence? And that was her teaching. And it's just like, whoa, this whole month, that's what that's led to. So it was really special. And it's so bizarre because I had an oracle deck next to me, the one from Gene Keys. And the last card in the deck is a mirror. And so I pulled the mirror out and I looked at myself in the mirror and the mountain was there. It was like, okay, that is total synchronicity. It was not planned. So I think that's where I'm at. Yeah, there's obviously other stuff going on with grief and family stuff, but that doesn't come into my sharing today. That's just part of my journey at the moment. And the two-legged ones, I have a lot of compassion for, and I just wish ease. Chaos going in the world at the moment.
Just taking a deep breath and receiving the sister sharing. Thank you, Ember, for your synchronicities. And I want to say, whenever I look at you, you are radiant. You are radiant, and I see, and that painting is so, so beautiful. Thank you for your sharing and for being here, for your deep listening and your honoring. You're a powerhouse. Thank you. Okay, Helene, how was your month with relations?
So to start with, where I started with a deep dark hole, was my thought of maybe I should just not do this journey with the clan mothers again, because it's just another thing to do and I'm already keep on overcommitting myself. And then I realized, but it is another thing, but is a thing that actually brings simplicity and that actually keeps reminding me of these 28-day cycles. And I'm so happy that I've stuck through it, that I want to say none of these sharings that I share today is necessarily something to sound fancy. It seems so simple, because that feels like I've literally had this whole neurological reset, call it what you will, just starting afresh, and like really like a little child seeing and hearing nature again in a very simple way, because everything else just seemed so overwhelming. So I start with a big one, and with the Kundalini dance that we did, that feels very synchronous with connection, because we are energy, so energy centers spiral in and around us, so there's nothing more that we are. So is divinity, is the relation with divinity, call it great mystery, great spirit, Shiva and Shakti. It was just this, like, how can you even live without making that a massive part of your contemplation? How can you, why is it even worthwhile spending so much time earning money or anything else, that if you don't have that, obviously the rest of your life might actually just not feel like it makes sense. So the teaching of the relations is start with a big one, start with source, where we came from. And then the other one was start with the polar opposite of that, almost myself. If I can't relate to myself, how do I expect others to relate to me? So it was really a big journey this last moon cycle, just to go back to loving myself. And yeah, so then with that, growing out these almost spirals all around. So the next step is my partner, the next step is my actual family, and so simple, literally just sending little messages. We also moved in this time. I think that's probably a big part of stressor, but literally being able to phone girlfriends and saying, hey, I'm feeling a bit of overwhelm with having to unpack my boxes. Could you just come sit with me? And knowing that's why we're in this human relating circumstance, that we can call upon friends to just do the day-to-day stuff, the nothing fancy, the not fancy dinners, or just like, can you lie on my couch and look at me and chat to me while I'm unpacking these boxes? So the relating has been so simple and so profound at the same time. And then maybe just one or two readings that really stood out. The one with Ram going and like banging against this tree, and the bluebird from the top is like, why are you, almost pushing my family out of the tree? And that's also what I like about these stories. Are they're so sweet, so cute. Like literally this bird and saying, but why are you forgetting joy? So that's been a massive theme. Like, why have you forgotten joy? And not maybe going too much into the past of why did I forget it, but how can I choose it from now onwards? So on Thursday morning, I had to drop my partner at work. His car's in for service. And then I stopped at the Garden of Eden on the way back home. What a great way to spend 47 Rand. Wow. Just next to the highway. It's this little 1 kilometer path. And these massive Outeniquachela, it's in Hardepier, and Olia Capenza is like all these standing people, and I said to myself, I'm going to sit here by this little river until I feel happy. Luckily, it only took about an hour and 15 minutes, but it was so cool to literally sit under the trees and be part of these birds and like just observe them. Then they go here. And I'm like, where are they? Just really seeing this is what the bird's mouth looks like when it makes that sound, and how they were playfully, almost the one came just past my face. And it was so cool to know that you're there still enough for long enough. You're part of nature. You're not observing, but you are it. So that was a beautiful, joyous day of that. How do I relate? By actually being part of it and not just observing it and looking at it. And then there was maybe just one more beautiful. Oh, and then as I got up from that seated position for how long, it's like the trees were literally laughing at me. Looked around. What is that noise? And I feel a bit like a crazy person, but then it's so nice to be in a group like this that says, oh, the mountain spoke to me and the dog spoke to me. It's like, that's how it's supposed to be. So they were laughing at me. It's like, geez, like, could you take yourself so seriously? Can you just not? Can you just get out of your head and just spend more time here? So it was just a month of going back to basics and really in the little moments, finding beauty in a flower. Keep on like a little 5-year-old picking these little flowers and putting it in a little vase around my house. And then the last story, I went to the beach the other day, and this lady must be in her 70s in this bikini, a goddess, swimming and doing her exercises. And I was talking to her. She's like, look at that little dog. And just so alive. And that was just this beautiful reminder that if you never lose the wonderment, if you never lose the childlike way of observing beauty, then in your old age, you'll still be that. You'll still be that little child that sees the dog and that sees the moon. And yeah, so thank you. That is my share.
Beautiful, Eileen, so heartwarming, and you are also radiating. And I'm so glad you broke through, and this new layer of you is coming out. I'm just grateful to know you and to have been for this friendship that is formed and this depth between us in these last 3 cycles. It's a really great blessing, and I give thanks to you. And always you have these simple wisdoms that you share that I really, really, really appreciate, and I honor the joy that you are feeling. Thank you for your share and for being here. Odette, how are you feeling in this moment?
Wow, very beautiful medicine coming through so far. So it's really just lovely to be sitting here and absorbing it. You can see my hands have been busy as well. I think you can see. I will show you what I'm making. I'm working with cacao. We have a festival on the garden route for New Year. That's a new festival that I'm catering for, and it has themed days. So the food is connected to these themes, and these balls that I'm making are for the Day of Beauty. So I like to listen to special things or music when I create stuff like this, because it's a process, takes time. And I thought I'm actually going to sit and bring it into the circle, because all your stories will be in these balls. It's like when I crochet, I also, all the thoughts that I'm thinking, and if I'm in company, the stories that I'm listening to, they find their way into the stitches. So it's very beautiful. So this is like similar. Yeah, so I really connect with Talks with Relation. She feels like a true sister. And I just have this sense, I remember already last year meeting her, this sense of like relief, like I've come home to her with her. She's just that embodiment of the simple truths of being human and being alive on this planet and earth being. And sometimes, you know, without her alliance, before I met her, let's say, before I kind of realized she's there, or sometimes there's doubt, like, oh, because the world is complicated and it drives people to more complicated like existence, and I never really resonate with that. I struggle with it and avoid it, and so yeah, having her ally or allegiance, just having her company gives me a sense of peace, and there's not much more to share, really. She feels like a foundation. And I also relate now, having gone through all of the clan mothers with you last cycle, I relate to what you say about they're all there present, you know, in different moments. And Talks with Relations feels like she's like this light energy. There's not much hard work with her for me, and that's really refreshing. And not that hard work is unattractive. It's just hard, but very fruitful. So I've been through a lot of deep processing in the last few months, and it's interesting to hear these shares of threads of grief, because and also your story, Shanti, of being with this person and feeling grief, but not necessarily for him, but more just this, it's kind of like that frequency, and it's almost like it doesn't leave you once you feel it. And I think there's a lot of unfelt grief. So you choose to feel and choose to allow. We do it for the collective, and that for me feels really very beautiful, and really also very nurturing to be in a space where that is understood, like this circle. Yeah, we had a protest march that last week for a peaceful protest march to try bring awareness and to stop this seismic testing that is being proposed and actually has been accepted off the coast of the Garden Route and actually all along. And the group was so small, you know, and I felt, even though it's so small, I sat on the beach and I just felt the sand, and what was being said was kind of from this human perspective of why this is a bad thing. You know, we won't be able to enjoy our beaches and we won't be able to fish, and like I get that, and I think it was important for the for it's kind of like a contemporary bridge to why people will relate and why they will want to not allow it and things like that. But at the same time, it was just, for me, it's so much more simple than that, you know. I just felt the sand, and I was playing with the sand, and I felt her alive. And yeah, I don't really have a completion to the story, but it was just that Talks with the Relations was there with that experience. Felt quite small, but also impactful. Like just the prayers that one human can make sitting on the beach have potency. I'm on a call. So yeah. And then what else? I think that's it. I think that's all I'll share. Just to echo that it's really good to be here.
Thank you, Odette. Thank you for who you are. I really love all of you. And yeah, I relate a lot with the joy and the grief with you. And I honor you for that depth that you hold for us as a humanity, and for your heart and your love and your care. Thank you for bringing cacao to the circle. And I do remember you also bringing your crochet work once, which was also very beautiful. And sometimes you comb your hair, and it's just beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, Odette. It's lovely. We've got 3 more shares left. We might go a little bit over time. If you have to leave at 10, you are very, very welcome. And if so I'll just keep it like that. It's also good to just give enough space for the sharing of each person to be complete. So I give thanks for patience as well. River, how has your moon been with Talks of Relations?
Shanti, just to not to mess with your sequence of people, but just to say that I don't have a time pressure. So if Natalie or Ali needs to go by 10, they're welcome to go earlier. Otherwise, if nobody has time issues, then I will go with my share.
Ali, it's nice to just as a little sub note. It's nice to in the chat put if you need to go earlier, because then as a practicality for future, then it's then I can see that, like I did with Eileen, and then I will later share. So just I guess we call it housekeeping, right? But Ali or Natalie, if you feel like you want to share now, you are very welcome. Okay, River, it's you.
Ever since I did my check-in, I have just been very gently and slowly like releasing lots of tears. I guess I felt like on Monday on my therapy session, I uncovered some things and I felt quite like, okay, during my session, I didn't cry and I was like, good to go home now, take care of my kids, blah, blah, blah. But there's been sort of this like underlying like sense of heaviness or something that needs to flow out of me. I really loved this grandmother. I love the way she has really always been with me. She's not unfamiliar to me and she's come up for me. Had a lot of like big plans of like creating art with using her, and she has come into my pottery and I've created like a mask with swan and ostrich and a bit of fox and centipede and the tall standing ones and blue jay and you know all the creatures from the story are part of this, and I was hoping to be able to share it, but the person was sick on Friday, so I didn't go in and get it, but also it still needs to be stained, so when it's ready I will put it on the grid. I also thought I would share the story with my youngest daughter, but somehow there was never a chance during this month, and I realized also, you know, this is not her journey, this is my time to be walking with the clan mothers. I woke up actually last night already, I felt like a really strong call to create a ceremony. So I have had a bay tree in my garden that we had to trim a lot. It wasn't doing too well, so I had to trim a lot of limbs from it. And I kept them and dried them for a long time. And then this weekend I felt like I had to bring them here with me. So I stuck all the logs in my car and I created a very beautiful fire last night. And I'm going to take the ashes home with me to give some back to the tree and to use them for like future ceremonies and things. And then this morning I woke up and I was really called to just work with nature. So I walked around and gathered lots of a rainbow assortment of petals and sticks and stones and things, and just created this mandala for the Today Circle. And I have some cacao in the cup. And I have felt particularly drawn to the birds, also continuously creating swallows, flocks and herds of swallows in my weekly pottery classes, and spending a lot of extra time outside. So I always used to sit and meditate outside in the mornings, but I've taken to doing my yoga like on the lawn, like not even a mat, just lying on the grass in the dew in the mornings, and just like really intensely experiencing nature in my garden and exactly where I am, not always needing to like get in my car and drive somewhere to be in nature. I've also had a much more intense relationship with a ginger cat that I share my house with. And I mean, I've always noticed the way she shows up in my life and in my work. I literally don't, she always just shows up when I'm in circles or in sessions, or even when I do massages, she will come and lie on the outside on the windowsill, like not coming and disturbing, but she's there. She's like really putting herself. I was watching her yesterday and thinking like, oh my God, oh, she's so timeless, you know, like I was like, what if she's getting old and it's time to go? Like I couldn't bear the thing of like parting from her. And I also know that like a part of her will stay. Yeah, so I've had a really profound journey with this grandmother, and one of the big things that have landed for me is trusting that everything I need, I mean, apart from like resourcing and inspirational stuff on the outside, is really inside me. Like the power is there. I can be confident, because one of the like limiting beliefs I walk around with is that like I'm not doing it good enough. So I try lots of different things and I never quite feel like it's good enough. And maybe there's probably this aspect of comparison, but I also know very powerfully that it's the voice of my parents, you know, and often it stopped me from even trying. And through the body work and the Kahuna massages I've done this past week, I've really like the feedback I've received and the energetic things that have been happening. I've suddenly felt like, actually, hang on, I am good at this, you know. I have a passion for this and I have a talent, and learning to embrace that. And this grief thing has been big, because sometimes even massaging clients, they would just be tears, and I don't think that these are entirely mine. They're not aware, like they're face down on the bed, like, so I'm not like falling and having to stop massaging, but it's like I can feel things moving through me. And yesterday in the forest, I really felt so deeply connected to all of the land, to the river, the meanderings and the stones. I've always had this like powerful thing about mountains. Like literally, I cannot be near a mountain without climbing it and being on it and doing it in the most like radical, barefooted, like I just want to feel it all kind of way. You know, even hiking like 5-day trails with a backpack on and not wearing my shoes, you know, like I feel so one with the earth. And I'm learning this month to see myself with the same awe and wonder that I see, you know, the swallows and the stuff. And coming back to the swallows, also this way that they build a home out of clay, and it's literally like building. And I've really been homemaking for the first time in maybe 3 years, in this home where I live with my ex-husband and my children. I finally put the bed in my room and put cupboards in and like moved my stuff from random places around the house into my bedroom. And it's been good and an interesting journey. And one of my daughters moved into my sanctuary with me, so I had a loft built and installed, so she has like her own level and her own space and like a literal nest in there with me. And it's been really powerful. And at the same time, I'm aware that she's preparing to like move out of my immediate space as a home educator and like overseer of her stuff into like another kind of relating where I will just be her mom and not the teacher in the school she hates at times. So I'm really excited for that. Yeah, it's been a really wild, powerful month. I'm really excited to be settling in a routine. Like my way was not to be journaling and to like read my piece very religiously every day. Like sometimes I would catch 3 days or 5 days catching up. But I'm trusting that I'm settling into a kind of a routine and a system, and really excited to be journeying with all these sisters. I'm looking forward to the next clan mother and her gift. And I'm also very much in a place of reclaiming like joy and giving thanks. Yeah. So I've also had a rough year and had burnout and I didn't do well for a long time, and in this place of like reclaiming my joy and who I am when I'm not a parent or a home educator all the time. Thanks.
Beautiful. Thank you, River. Thank you so much. I was just reflecting, I met you 3 years ago at the solstice, and the connection in those, I think every time that we've met, it's been so beautiful. And I really honor your gentleness and your softness. You are so flowing for me. And I always love hearing, as a mother, I love hearing other mothers speak about their processes. And I really honor your journey, and I see your growth through these 3 years that I've known you. I see you. Thank you. Thank you, Meryl. I am recording, so it's all good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Thank you for your share, River. Natalie, how has your moon been with toxic relations?
Thank you to the ladies from before, and it's just so nice to hear what's going on with you and to hear who you are and what you, and I'm just really encouraged as well. There's so much creativity that I see. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, cool. The creativity that that you ladies are doing with that beautiful mandala, and for me, touching into the feminine principle is something new for me, like very into being conditioned in the masculine way, and so action and learning how to connect with the softer part and sitting still and doing is being a very new experience and freshly opening for me, this clan mother. And so trying to integrate that. So for me this month I've been working with talks through the relation and how she's sort of coming out for me with the animals. Like I've had Dragonfly really following with me on a few days as I said, with the masculine way for my creativity that's come about is that I've been wanting to build my own sacred space for women, and I've got some ideas. And so I've built a tent, a teepee in my backyard here that I'm sitting in for the first time today, and have my ladies coming tomorrow. So I've done that. And to do that, it was like moving all this soil and building the landscape for it, retaining walls, a pathway, and erecting and just building this space. And so I'm really happy that we finally get to see that. And my daughter had a sleepover last night in here with her friends. So they were the first group, and it was beautiful. And we talk about this as well in one of the ladies was saying about the elder sort of coming and that new generation and the gift of passing down. And for me, it was really with it, like putting in that imprint, is that I just wanted to give these young women, so they're 17 and they're doing their last year at school. And here in Australia, we've got this thing called the HSC, which is the Higher School Certificate. And so it might be one of the last times, if not the last time, that they're actually, these group of girls are together in that way for the sleepover parties before they go into face the world. And I just wanted to gift them for them to have that moment of being children again, of just being young and being in a safe place. So that was a real gift to be led. I've also, with this grandmother, this 52 that you were saying, I'm not there yet, but the elder part is really coming out for me, even so much as the elder tree medicine is the one that I'm working with at the moment, that's sort of coming through. And as with this moon that's happened, with the new moon with Scorpio season, some of the stuff that's been coming out with me, for me, is things that I've been denying a lot. The word denial has really come out. Like, what have I been denying? And we hold these like there's some traumas that have been coming up, or things that I've not looked at from my past, these events that happen, because I keep shutting them down, and it keeps coming up and saying, no, there's an opportunity now to look at this. And it's really uncomfortable, this sitting in those uncomfortable feelings. And so I've been doing a lot of forgiveness work with this grandmother, and the Ho'oponopono, and lots of prayers in that direction. And yeah, I just really feel, and having, all our relations connecting in that way to be supported. So I feel like I'm being really held at the moment to do this work, that this is the time and place to let some of these things go, out of, if not only for myself, for the collective and my ancestry line and whatever that might be, just being willing to say, I'm okay to sit in an uncomfortable space. And we're talking about death, but let these things die, bring them into the light and give them the forgiveness and the attention that they need, and allow that to transition into light, into love, and to say, thank you, you no longer serve me, and let those things go. Yeah, so a lot of things happening around, just feeling good about honoring my own space, and that way being able to honor our others. And yeah, thanks. I just still want to run around. Thank you.
Natalie, I love your teepee. When you started your call, you had your background blurred, and I only noticed now when you started speaking, you unblurred it, and I that's why I was looking, and it's beautiful. I recognized it immediately. What a beautiful, beautiful space. Well done for creating it.
Thank you. I don't know if we can go all around.
Ready? Oh wow.
And there's lights at the top up there. I made a spiral in the center of the roof that lights up at night.
Beautiful. Many, many blessings on this beautiful teepee of yours. May it serve you and all the people who goes in there so well. It's so great to have a sacred container like that. Well done. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sitting in it today. It's so special. Thank you for being here, Natalie. I really appreciate you. Ali, how was your moon with toxic relations?
So it's actually really cold here, which is why I'm under the duvet. Just so you know. When I joined this circle, and thank you, by the way, for all your beautiful sharings. I resonate with a lot of what you've been saying around letting go and forgiveness. And when I started this circle, it was the last full moon, very intense. Yes, I've had a lot of opportunity to bring into balance my relationship. So my dad was in hospital, and my mum wasn't well, so I spent some time with my family. But and we've had Samhain, so I follow the Celtic calendar, over here, which I'm sure you do as well. But Samhain was a very, very powerful time where the veils thinned and we could really connect with our ancestors. And I also had a ceremony. I have a lodge in my garden, and I called in the Cailleach energy, and I sat where she was sitting, and I felt that death energy, and that was very powerful. But essentially, what the grandmother taught me around that time was that morning, as I woke up in the dawn, and I had this feeling that she was showing me a spun thread, and she was spinning this thread, and it was going through, kind of almost like my cervix, down through my legs into. I was kind of being reborn. But I just had to let go and be born. But there was a lot of fear there, and I had to really breathe. She was breathing with me. She was breathing with me, holding my head, and it just happened, and it was a very kind of body experience. So that was the thread. This thread continued, and to the new moon, when I had my cacao ceremony. And then I have to also tell you that I'm in my 52nd year. and Meryl was saying about this peyote ceremony, and I was thinking, oh wow, yeah, no, what happened was, for my 52nd in the springtime this year, I was part of a peyote ceremony in a teepee, and that was my last period. That I didn't know it at the time, but that was my last monthly cycle that happened when I was in that ceremony. So and then we also had a Temazcal, a sweat lodge, and we had some mushrooms, and I had my face right down in the earth because it's really hot, and that was the only way I could get through it, through the breath. And the earth became these little goddesses, and it was like the goddess symbols that you see from ancient times. That's what I was seeing in the earth, and I just thought, this is how they got these amazing forms. These goddess forms was because they took mushrooms. I'm sure of it. So anyway, back to the new moon. I did the cacao, and that was incredible, absolutely incredible. I was taken down into my womb space again. And I really felt the grandmothers were with me, all of them. And they were really telling me to just focus on my own healing process. Because I give out a lot here. I do a lot of healing and ceremony here in the UK. So it was very much about my own healing. And I was showing this thread again. And the thread was being woven, it was being connected from my womb up through my crown up to the upper world. And it was this thread, but it was white. And it was like the thread of truth. And I was just told, oh, I didn't need to, because I know there was a lot of fear about death, you know. I was worried that lots of things would have to change around me. But I was told that if I focused on the truth, that everything would become, you know, the next step would become really clear. And not to worry. And it's just so beautiful. I was in this space for like 20 minutes. I put a drumming with Sandra Ingerman. She has this beautiful healing journey, the drumming journey, and I was just doing that on Spotify. It was a very powerful journey. And then, so I also have to tell you that I got married on Table Mountain. A friend of ours was living in South Africa, and she organized the whole thing. So we went up the garden route. We met an amazing medicine man on the garden route who was living off grid. And some of those experiences were so powerful, and they've stayed with me my whole life. I also took the book Women Who Runs with the Wolves on that trip. And that Baba Yaga story is so powerful for me, and I use it a lot with my clients. But Table Mountain is a beautiful mountain, and I'm also connected to the mountains of Peru. That's what my lineage is from. My lineage is the high Andes, from my shamanic tradition that I follow. So I'm very much connected with the mountains, and I've been building my relationship with the upper world, the stars, because the Inca, you know, the ancestors, they believe that they came from the Pleiades constellation. So the stars and the sun and the moon. So your reading, Shanti, was so special and so beautiful because, you know, in the UK, in the Celtic wheel, it's very much about, you know, going down into the underworld and the darkness and death and rebirth. But there's also this upper world, this that's available to us to help bring all of that into balance. So yeah, I've had a chance to really talk to some very old friends about how I'm feeling, and so there's been a lot of healing. So when I actually look back across the month, it's been incredible, you know. And the last 2 days I was thinking, oh, nothing's really happened. But actually, as I've been sitting here and listening to you all, I've realized it's been really profound. So thank you so much for holding this space. And yeah, it's been wonderful. I'm really, really grateful for this time. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful, Ali. Thank you so much for your gentle sharing and the depth that you bring. I honor the land of South Africa, Australia, and the UK, England, for being present here. It's like we're this nodes, and each of us are also connected into these special places. Like you say, you have a connection into Peru as well. I also wanted to say that Clara, that's part of the circle, she's also initiated into the Inkari. So it's so beautiful to see all of us coming together in our ways and serving in our ways, and yeah, our connection to the Earth Mother. And it's so necessary that we are able to feel that depth with her, without without the necessity even of the English language, or a language to to make us connect. It was so beautiful when Helene shared her experience by the waters, and that joy that just completely radiates from her. And I'm sure all of us can recognize it. And it's those spaces and places that makes us feel well, and able to go through everything that we go through, and honoring the joy and the sorrow for all of us, and this below and above for all of us. I really honor each and every one of you for your share and the part that you bring. And it's just yet again for me so amazing to see these different parts of the Clan Mothers being revealed through us. And it's also beautiful for me to witness the sharings, especially like if especially from those who I've seen shared over and over again many times, and the specific style, the specific essence that every woman brings every single time. Each of us have a very specific essence that we bring, and the wisdom. I could never do this alone. It is us creating together here, and the wisdom that comes from each of you is invaluable. And it I just honor these Clan Mothers and our ability to receive stories and to speak as beautifully as we do. And thank you everyone. Thank you, Ali, for your share. Thank you for this beautiful inspiration. May you have a beautiful Sunday. Ali, you're the only one in winter. All of us are having summer. It's nice to have that node, inside of the circle. Thank you, everyone, so much. If there's any final shares that would like to be shared, you're welcome to do so now. And that we
I
can close.
realized after I spoke, there was an aspect of the story that I wanting to share, because it's a beautiful reminder when she's talking to Caterpillar, and Caterpillar's telling her, or Centipede actually, not Caterpillar. I don't know if you can hear me properly because my sound sounds very weird. Okay. And Centipede is talking about having these extra legs that she has to teach to do what she needs, and in such a playful, joyful tone. It just came through like, yeah, we just have to, it's like in Vipassana, start again, and you just kind of have to go back to the beginning and remember to relearn. And I think that was really something that I'd like to speak into the circle as a beautiful thing. It's really quite amazing to be in circle with such women. So thank you all.
Thank you for that, Odette. Yeah, I love that little image of the centipede. And when I see the Shongololo, I always think of them. And it's totally Shongololo season now. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. May you be blessed. Enjoy whatever the day has for you. Thank you for being here. Lots of love.
Thank you.
you, Natalie.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.